Hello, and thank you very much for writing to me asking about the reason for why there are blisters on the pasted plate after the plates are fully formed. I shall just explain the possible reasons. One of the reasons which you need to check is whether you are putting too much of barium sulfate in the paste mix. Secondly, you also need to check whether the barium sulfate is being properly dispersed. Means you are mixing the barium sulfate properly when you do a dry mix and adding the acid only after that, because the barium sulfate has to be spread throughout in the mixer with all and mixed properly with the entire quantity of lead suboxide. Thirdly, I want to know whether you are using red lead along with the oxide while making the paste. It is not necessary to use red lead actually, because in the earlier days when litharge was being used, people were using red lead and litharge. With the advent of lead suboxide, the red lead usage has been stopped, and in case you are using less than 5%, it may be okay, but you need not actually use red lead. Fourth, I want to know whether you are dipping the plates after the pasting in sulfuric acid. Most of the people, especially in areas where you have a dry climate and it's not very humid, to avoid the surface cracks, they do dip the plates after the pasting. This dipping has to be carried out in a very dilute sulfuric acid. I would recommend it to be around 1.050 specific gravity, and you need to check whether you are dipping it at a very high specific gravity. If that is so, this can be one of the reasons for these blisters getting formed. And in case you are dipping in a proper specific gravity, you need to check the consistency throughout the shift, because you may start with dipping at 1.050 at the beginning of the shift, but the specific gravity may not be consistent throughout the shift. So this dipping acid specific gravity needs to be checked periodically. Of course, the quantity of acid used in the paste mix, the specific gravity of the acid used, as well as the quantity of water, all have a role to play. But the reasons which I mentioned are more important, and they are mainly the cause of the blisters. I'll tell you a few other reasons why these blisters do appear on the plate. In case the plates are not fully cured, and they are not fully dried after the curing, and if you have a lot of moisture in the cured plate, and if you are assembling a battery using unformed plates which are wet, then there is a possibility of these blisters or bubble-like formation after the plates are fully charged. One more reason is, in case you are doing a charging, the charger used may have a AC ripple content, which can also cause these blisters to form. So the charger also needs to be checked. If the filters or chokes of the chargers are not working properly or they are damaged, then you can have a high ripple content going into the batteries which are getting charged. In case you send me the charging details, including the charge current, the period of charge, and the period of rest after the acid filling, and the total AH input, and the temperature during charging, if the log sheet is sent to me, probably I can throw more light as far as the charging aspect is concerned. Now, you can get in touch with me and revert to me on my email ID, rameshkailad@gmail.com, rameshkailad@gmail.com. I hope I have answered your queries to your satisfaction. Thank you very much.